that you can change their life from a simple conversation, right? How many people sponsored someone or who's really grateful because someone sponsored them into this business, right? So we need the right attitude and knowledge, and that's why basic one is basic one. Now the knowledge is gonna come from all the trainings, right?
Yes.
Like we're so lucky that we just came back from the 25th year anniversary because I got to see the history of this company,
Yeah.
right? Doesn't that give you a different level of belief to know where they came from and know where they are today,
Yes.
right? That's all knowledge right there. And you might think, oh, it happened before me. It doesn't matter. Trust me, it matters. It changes everything.
Yes.
Because you saw that the company struggled too, and they're here right now, and what they had back then, you wouldn't want to deal with all that stuff, right? No, I would not want to deal with fax machines, right? But now, because of all the changes they made, I know that this company wants me to make more money,
Yes.
right? So, attitude and knowledge is basic one. What's number two? Goals. We cannot hit a target that we do not have.
Yes.
We can't. And before this business, I didn't have a target for my life. I said, oh, I want to be an x-ray tech. And, you know, I'll make like 50K a year, and I should be okay. Little did I know, that's not even, you can't even run a basement off that money around here. So, but because I was introduced to a different network who told me about goals, now I have something to aim for. And every time I aim for it, I get closer and closer and closer. And then when I hit it, I have a new one, right? It's an amazing thing, and it feels like, wow, you're living a purposeful life. You're not just waking up by accident. Make sense? So goals and goal setting is really, really important in order to go after our goals and our dreams. Make sense? What's basic three? Retail, right? Every business sells a product or a service, right? We're so lucky to be a part of a company that has both, right? We sell everything.
Yep.
So with
Yes.
our business, we can literally talk to anybody. So who is this business for? Everybody, right? So retailing, trust me, me being an introverted, shy geek that was a video gamer, I would not talk to people and I would never think I could sell, ever. But my best quarter was 3,000 BV in one quarter. And back a couple years ago, it was a struggle for transfer buy, right? But it's all about setting goals and learning about the products, right?
Yes.
So retailing is what we consider the lifeblood of our business because we're gonna have this cash flow so that when it comes time to buy tickets, oh, it's no problem,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
When it comes time to pay for an event, it's no problem, right? It's not costing me money because I'm retailing.
Yes.
My retail is running my business. Make sense?
Yes.
Right. So, what's basic four? My
Prospecting.
favorite. Prospecting, recruiting, and sponsoring. Right? And with that, I started out as really scared to talk to people and not looking to recruit people. I literally almost did not do this business because I had to find 2 people, right? And isn't that silly, right? But that was where I started from. So being able to understand that if you're recruiting someone, you have something to offer, right? You're coming from a position of power. And before as an employee, I was afraid to recruit. Now that I'm in management, I recruit every day. Why not recruit from my own business instead of my 45, right? So recruiting is an honor and a privilege. And I shared on the bus yesterday that if we didn't have that aspect, we'd all have to get 10,000 people shopping through our own shop.com per month. Does that sound doable? No. But because 2 gets a 2 gets a 2 gets a 2. Do you think that 500 people, you getting 100% no level, you could have 10,000 people shopping through your shop.com based on your team within a two or 3 years? Definitely, right? That's how it unfolds. So basic 5 is really important. That's also where we get what we get from our local seminars as well. ECCT. Oh man, I felt like the convention, that we just came from, was an ECCT with the amount of history that we learned about our business. It's really, really important, and not just because you learn about the ins and outs and the corporate regulations of our business. It's a real business, and some people need to experience ECT to understand that, right? And here's the thing: when you can make commissions with this business by accident, like I mentioned before, ECCT ensures that you do not duplicate the wrong thing.
Yes.
Because when you do not get your check, you're gonna say, I gotta take ECCT, right? Right, J-Rob? So you gotta make sure that that you take these trainings, and it's only $50. Only $50. So the training system is really, really important. Local seminar, guess who we have coming in on the 27th? Gary Rogers.
Yes.
We just spent $1,000 to see him at Moving Up seminar a few months ago. Now we get to leverage him for $25, $30, right? If you're from out of state, I would recommend that you fly back here just for Gary, right? Because he's just an amazing, he just won the Jerry Siciliano Award as well.
Yes.
And that's the highest recognition you can receive from this company. So Gary Rogers, I actually ran into him at International Convention, and I was talking to him, and I told him, you know, I just jumped another pin level, and he was so happy. Like, he was so happy that I did that, and he doesn't know me, and I'm not in his organization, but like, he really cared, right? And what he's experienced over the past 2 years with his daughter and cancer, he said that even though he wasn't able to build because of his daughter's sickness, he still showed up because someone had to see that he made it. And his income increased in his time off, even though he didn't do much. Where else can you find a business that not only remains profitable, but increases in profit when you work it less? It's not happening anywhere. He's just a really humble, down-to-earth guy that you love to learn from, right? So, district conference, right? We do not have those around here, right? But they're a little smaller than the regionals. But we do have them in like the Southwest, Southeast, and it's only $50, right? We have regional conventions, and they're a lot of fun, but they're not as big as international and world conference. However, we really, really need them because we use them as stepping stones to jump to the next event, right? Because every couple of months, we're gonna run out of energy, right? It's just, we're humans, right? I'm average. So me getting to another event every 3 months has changed everything. So I'm so grateful. I was telling Benson, man, we used to have 42, on average of 38 to 40 people at our HBPs weekly. And then right before North Carolina, it was 24, right? 26. So I was looking forward because I'm like, oh, we get to reset, right? Now everyone's calling me already, hey, I got 2 people tonight. I got 3 people for Thursday. So we really need to leverage these events. And trust me, the people who are reaching out and traveling to these different regional conventions, they're building even faster because once you understand that you need to leverage the system, you're going to try and plug in people from anywhere you know people. You want to get them to our events, right? So Chinese boot camp. How many people just came back from Chinese boot camp?
Yeah.
Wait, can you pass me that my ticket thing right here, please? So Chinese boot camp is one of my favorites, and it's not because it's in Vegas, right? It's not because it's in Vegas. So it's because it's Chinese, right? And it's not because I understand, right? But it's because we have the best leaders from that community, right?
Yeah.
So I was able to. Awesome. So thank you. See, so cool. So I got a lot of tickets, right?
Yeah.
Teamwork. Wow.
You do it.
This is the only time I want a picture of you. Yeah.
So I got 5 tickets to next year's Chinese boot camp.
Yeah.
And it's like a year from now, right? 10 months. Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. So my goal is to get to as many people as I can, even if they do not speak Mandarin, right? I messed it up. So, and the reason is because this is the culture that has the highest success. Everyone saw what was happening, right? Everyone saw the Asian community dominating.
Yes.
Dominating when it comes to the residual income. So who do you want to learn from? The Asian community, right? They're dominating. the Chinese, since Benson says, hey, he's giving me the look, right? So you want to make sure that you grab your tickets, and there's no excuse. There's no excuse. And to be able to get education from people who have PhDs, engineering degrees, and I'm only for $100.
Yes.
Where else am I gonna get that? Nowhere, right? And it's so comfy. You know, we get to just go downstairs. It's an amazing event. I highly recommend it. Kevin Buckman wants to make this thing as big or bigger than regionals over the next 2-3 years. And the only way we're gonna do that is by bringing more Mandarin speaking people straight to Chinese boot camp. It's really important. I know a lot of people think, oh, I don't speak that language, so it's okay. But guess what? Vicky Lee, right? Miss Lou. So many people who started did not speak English, and that didn't stop them. So why should it stop us, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Olivia. Can we give Olivia a round of applause?
This is how much Chevy loves Las Vegas Chinese boot camp. He even keeps
That's
the
the
key card.
I'm hoping it's gonna work next year. Right? So Chinese boot camp is really important, and that's normally in June, right? So World Conference, right? World Conference is also where I got the belief because I was in a car accident. I had back surgery, and I was in a lot of pain, and doctor told me not to travel. And I actually went home early the first day, back to the hotel to sleep because I was in so much pain. But Benson came back and said, hey, are you drinking products? I'm like, yeah, OPC. Yeah. And he was like, hey, you need vitamin D with K2. So I added that to the calcium, the OPC3, and the joint support that I was taking. And that changed everything. I was like, man, I slept that night well, and I drank it again in the morning. And just from those 2 doses, I was able to sit through the whole day the next day. So can we give our products a round of applause? What if I did not go to that event? If I did not go to that event, guess what? I would not have gained that belief. So it's really, really important for us to get to the event, So international, we all just came back. Some of us went to the gala, right? Wasn't that amazing? Yeah. One thing I gotta say, I gotta give the ladies a round of applause because you guys are dominating with the awards. Like, did you see how many award after award after award? I looked at Benson and said, we need to step it up. We need to, only one man won anything. So if you're a lady, you have twice the chance of succeeding. So let's give the lady. So my team did not start growing until I found more ladies, right? So gentlemen, a tip, and J-Rod. But he's kind of like both, right? So product symposium is really, really important because that's where we're going to learn to believe. We learn from the doctors, the researchers, so many different people that are doing all the research in the field. So the latest product development, the ingredients, what each ingredients do, and how they work synergistically is really important to get to product symposium because we're built on what?
Products.
We're built on what? Products. Awesome. So moving up, it's an amazing, amazing event. We always get to see Jim Winkler and Kevin Bookman, and sometimes we get Gary Rogers, sometimes we get Olivia Lee, and can we give Olivia a round of applause? We get to leverage her, right? A lot of other teams have to spend $1,000 to hear her to do this.
Hi, Olivia.
$1,000, right? I'm not gonna pay you. I knew she was gonna do that, right? So that's where you're gonna actually get to experience. JR sometimes pops up. You're in his home.
Yes.
You're on his yacht. It's just a different level of life. And just to think where I came from in a third world country to be able to just be on a yacht, like this business has opened my mind so much, right?
Yes.
And then we have all the specific trainings depending on what you want to major in. But I get the honor of talking about this, right? We call this the golden circle, right? And we start off with 1-to-1s or 2-to-1s or 3-to-1s, and at that point we're giving people an overview of what we do, right? And they're not going to get it, right? Did anyone get it the first time just from sitting down and no, never, right? You have an idea, but you don't get the whole concept. But then when you come to a UVP, do you understand a little bit more? Definitely, right? Do you learn about no level 100%? Definitely, right? Do you see people making money, right? So then you're like, oh, you know what? Maybe I can do this, right? I understand it even more. But then when you get to a local seminar, and in Flushing, it's like 500-600 people, right? You see so many people succeeding in this business. You get a whole other level of belief. And then everything that they go over throughout the local seminar is Basic 5. And here's the thing, Basic 5 can be applied anywhere in your life, right? Because if you're single and you're looking, guess what you're doing? You're recruiting, right?
Yeah.
Sponsor 2, right? And but when you learn about the books to read, right? And whether it's Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill or whether it's the Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki, when you learn these things, I highly recommend Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill as well. So once you start reading these books, you start becoming more aware of everything, right? The Secret. There's so many different ones that you just grow personally and spiritually, because in this business, you get paid for who you become, right?
Yes.
And once you get to a local or a district, you're thinking, wow, I could really do this, right? So then you go to a regional and Chinese boot camp, and you see a couple thousand people succeeding in this business. And you're sitting there thinking, there's no way I can do this business. Right now, your brain that was designed to protect you, right? So it's gonna play it safe all the time. It's thinking, you know what? I don't need to be protected. I don't need to survive. I need to thrive, right?
Yes.
So you got another level of belief.
Yes.
And then when you get to World Conference, you see thousands of people, over 20, 23, 25,000 people flying from all over the world. That gives you think, I'm crazy not to do this business, right?
Yes.
You're like, there's no way that I can't make it now. And then you see people lining up at 3 a.m.,
Yep.
4 a.m. They're fighting for an opportunity. And here I am, afraid to talk to 2 people, right? You get another level of belief. But then when you get to international convention, you get to North Carolina, you get to see the company, you see the physical building, you get to touch it, right? You know, this is real. But then when you hear JR speak and see the corporate team, and you see what they're doing, and every year, not even every year, every couple of months, I feel like the company transformed. It stayed the same, but it transformed because they're always so forward thinking, right? And how much did we pay for all these improvements? 0. 0. If we invested in any other franchise and they have a new menu, do you think they just come in and do the menu for free? No, they're going to charge for everything. That's how they make money, right? But with our business, we did not have to pay for anything when shop.com updated, right? We did not have to pay for our new products, right? So when you get to international convention, you get a whole nother level of belief. And literally, this is what happens. With each step of the way, you start from here, the outside in, and you stop here, and you become stronger. You stop here, you become stronger. You stop here, you become stronger. Stop here, you become stronger. Once you go through this whole cycle of 1 year, you become bulletproof.
Yes.
Bulletproof.
Yes.
So no one can tell you that this business does not work, especially when you know people who started a year ago, the same time you started, and they're now making residual income, right? So we can't be upset for the money we didn't get paid for the work we didn't do. We just have to trust the process and tough it out. But if it was easy to make a 6-figure residual income, would 95% of people be struggling? No, they wouldn't be. So do you think that we can tough it out and go through this whole cycle so that we can master what this business is all about and then bring people with us the next cycle?
Yes.
And then have those people bring people with us the next cycle. Imagine, guys, think about it. JR wants an arena filled with directors, right? So it's up to us to reach the people so that they can see what our business is all about. And the GMTSS is the only place where we're going to be able to get that belief and where we're going to be able to continue to build this business through the tough times, through the no's, through the people doubting you, through the people hating you, saying you're doing a scam or pyramid, you're taking people's money. The only way you're going to survive is through leveraging the GMTSS. And without this, once you go through this whole process, if you're ready, you'll be reinvented. And now you're ready to build this business. So thank you so much for the opportunity to share.
Can we do another round of applause for Chevy? Really awesome segment, and it's really learn by doing. And you know, just like he talked about, we all go through some trial and error, and he's been there, done that, and realizing what saves time and what works, like Bill just shared, a little bit different doesn't work, right? It has to be exact duplication. And Chevy, you guys have New Jersey weekly events, right? From Monday and Thursday, correct? Everybody don't have to negotiate, don't have to think about, they just plan their schedule around team schedule. Does that make sense? People always say, oh, right? Some of my people are busy, right? So-and-so cannot come to certain dates. Guess what? You will never have a time that fits everybody.
That's right.
Yes.
Right? If the company fits around our individual schedule, you won't have the company anymore. So we have to fit into the system. We have to fit into the team. We have to customize our schedule. But when you have that quality and you have that persistency, right, people will come. They don't want to miss out because they know the event helps them to grow. And you guys also come to Friday to our big team HBP. I've never seen anyone that, ever since I started hosting my Monday and Friday HBPs, you can count on me to always show up to Ms. Liu's Wednesday training. Why? Because you need resources to learn so that you can pass on more information, right? Because we are if the cup, you're constantly spilling water out, sharing and duplicating, you become empty. And that's when we feel frustrated.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Have we felt that if only us, a few, 4 or 5 people, speaker, train the same crowd, people really get sick and tired of our own face, don't we? Even we get sick and tired of talking, to the same people with the same type of low energy. But when we plug into a bigger environment, right? Every Wednesday, every leader that holds their own HVPs or any type of training, right? Honestly, this is the standard we have. If you don't plug in to big team training, I don't think you're a responsible host to your own training.
Yes.
Can I say that again?
Yes.
Right? If we do not plug in to the big GMTSS and also big team training, then we're not being a proponent. But we're not being a plus to the big team. So you're only training people, continue lowering your personal growth, and you're really limiting your team's growth. So I don't think that's a responsible host, right? Or a person that conducts any type of training.
Yep.
So for us, we always say, if you commit to have a training, I expect you. I expect to see you at all of our team training on Sunday afternoon. Does that make sense? Because we cannot put all of our people, and their success into someone's hand that doesn't take responsibility and do what they say. Because you tell people to go to your training, then how come you don't plug into the team training?
Yes.
Does that make sense? So that all comes from what? From individual to team, then to the system. Then you bring more people who saw the belief out to the outer ring again. Get those people, that's how you go from 3 people that can do one-on-one, two-on-ones. You bring 10 people to the core, our bullseye, from this weekend, everybody gained the belief, then 10 people can do 2-on-1, 3-on-1. That's how you multiply your time.
Yes.
Does that make sense? So, that's, we see these New Jersey partners, each time they travel here, although it's only 20 miles, not even? 20 miles, it's not far. But the traffic is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the toll is minimum $30 round trip. Minimum. Crossing the bridge, any tunnel coming in and out of New York City to New Jersey is minimum $15 each, one way. Of course, you have to go back home, right? So it's $30 minimum. And what about gas, traffic, right? All of the time, each time they come to one UBP or our Friday night events, Friday night always the most amount of traffic. We don't know why, right? So when they come, that's in addition to our weekly or monthly UBP. So they could easily say, oh, we don't have to come to, Bayside, which is our HBP, because we are hosting our own HBP. Does that make sense? And it's not necessarily they have a guest, they come. Usually it's the people who really want to learn, who wants to learn from the leaders and create the duplication. It's always a new distributor that drive themselves to come to Friday night team, right? Team HBP. So this is the smart people. Smart people leverage like that, right? So let's give Chevy another round of applause.
One more thing, about a year ago, almost, or 10 months ago, Olivia said, Chevy, if you guys stay consistent with HBPs, your business is gonna take off. And we always did them for like a month, but if people don't show up, we'd say, okay, we'll watch football or basketball, or we'll grab a drink, right? Because we have no guests. So because she said just stay consistent, when me, J-Rod, and Mo, and Shelly would have no guests, we still did it. And eventually people started showing up. And because we remained consistent, we went from just the 3 of us, sometimes 4 of us, showing the plan to ourselves, to the maximum amount of people we had was 42. 42, wow. And standing room only, and that was in less than a year. It was about 4-5 months of consistent work. So it's all about consistency and having someone that you can learn from, like our leaders here. So thank you.
Wow, awesome. And once they've experienced the growth and benefit of staying consistent, right? The key word here is consistent. You know, the reason he shares this is he knew it's not a conversation we had once. It was a conversation we had for like about almost 2 years. Yep. They've always done things, and if, let's say, Benson travels to New Jersey, they conduct one. If I travel to New Jersey, they conduct one. But don't we say that? Oh, we have no new people. 3 of us. What's the point of doing again and again? But every HBP starts that way. Every training starts that way. So 5 months, and now they've experienced the growth. Their next 3 months goal, very crystal clear. Already people standing, fighting for the opportunity and say, I want to be the next one. So can you empower me and train me all the fundamentals so I can host and conduct my HBP in the next 2 months? So that's what their goal. How do you compound? When you have more HBP locations. More HBP locations, that's when your team is going to be unstoppable. Okay? So I was wondering, so did you guys win? Who won the battle? Who won the title to the HPP of a particular night, right? So they were, Elaine and Coy were joking, like they all want to host their own HPP, and they were like fighting over the time. That's what we want to see, right? That's what we want to see. So next part of the NUOT is, what is it, guys? 48 hours, okay? So why does it call 48 hours?
It's a 48